Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Piranesi. In today's video, I am doing the Booktuber Name Tag. This tag was created by Aaron Read a Book or Aaron Read a Book, and I was tagged by Pat at Book Chat with Pat. Thank you so much for tagging me, and let's dive into it. There are 10 prompts or 11 prompts really, and basically this tag is there are like 10 channel names that have been turned into prompts, something like that. You should check out Aaron's channel to see like how he came up with it. But I think it's a really fun tag, and I'm excited to start with it. So let's just dive straight into prompt number 1, which is connected to the channel Books I'm Not Reading. A book that's been on your TBR forever. I had to think about this quite a lot because I don't think I have a lot of books. Well, I do have some biographies that I've owned for like 20 years and I haven't read. But I don't know if they are... Someone just gave them to me, or my brother gave them to me for Christmas, or several Christmases, and they're not necessarily something that I wanted to read. I'm very happy to have them, and I think I'm gonna read them eventually. But I don't want to count them because those were not like... I did not decide that they would become mine and that I would have to read them. But I do have 2 books that in the last several years I've been wanting to read, but I haven't gotten around to yet. The first of them is... I took the wrong one. Sorry, I meant to take this one. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoj. It's so big and I've been scared, but I can't remember her channel name. I will put it on the screen. She is an author tuber, really. I mean, she does talk about books that she reads, and she is a library. She's just finished studying to be a library technician, I think. And she has talked about this book extensively on her channel. And it made me want to read this book. And I love this is historical fiction. I don't know when exactly Tolstoy wrote it, whether he was... So he was writing... This takes place in the Napoleonic Wars in Europe. So he was born a little bit later, but he was writing historical fiction, although this was written as well in like 18 something. It's a very old book, and it's a huge book. But everybody that reads it, that I have same reading taste as, love this book. So I just need to get to it. It is on my goals. Well, one of my goals for this year in regards to reading is to read some Russian literature. And so this one is definitely on that list. But I also have Anna Karenina, however you say it. But I don't know, this one calls to me because I need to read it. But I would say that it's been on my TBR for maybe 2 years. So that's not probably that bad. But a book that's been on my TBR really since I was a teenager is Egilssaga, which is one of the Icelandic sagas. And this is the saga of Egil Skallagrímsson. He was born in 910. And he was actually born here in Iceland, I think, rather than in Norway. But so he was a man of, he was a Viking, or he did go Viking, and he, I think he like went to some battle in Britain. He's a very famous Viking. He was also a poet, and he's actually an ancestor of mine, like 30 generations back. He's a great grandfather basically. But he like wrote such a beautiful poem about when his son died. I don't know. Reading the Icelandic sagas is definitely, it's a process. I'm reading it obviously in the old language, so it's it's very similar to modern Icelandic, but it's still a little bit different. But I want to read this book at some point because I think that this is one of the best, or what I've heard is that it is one of the best Icelandic sagas. Maybe in the top 10 at least. So it's been on my TBR. I think I wanted to read it when I was in high school, but we had to read another one. I got mad at that, but I read the other one, which was fine. But I want to read this one at some point in my life, for sure. Prompt number 2 is connected to the channel Novel Idea, and it is a book with an interesting premise or plot device. I have to say Piranesi. I think that this may be one of the most original stories that I've ever read. It's how can people? I'm in awe of. I don't know how do you say that word. I'm in awe of this ability to just make up a world like that, which is so like, Piranesi. Prompt number 3 is connected to Revenant Reads, and it is a book where someone has returned from the dead. A book that I've read in where someone returns from the dead is Empire of the Vampire and Empire of the Damned. These are vampire books, obviously, maybe. You could question whether becoming a vampire means that you're returned from the dead, because you're kind of dead as a vampire. But I'm sticking with that choice. It's I feel like I say this almost in every video, or at least in every video where I'm talking about this book, but it's such a good vampire book. It's fantastic world building. Yeah, it's very good. Prompt number 4, Criminali, a book where a crime takes place. So I'm just gonna go with the very probably obvious choice if you know anything about my reading tastes in regards to crime, and then there were none by Agatha Christie. I would say that Agatha Christie is my favorite mystery writer. I love her so much. And at the moment, at least, I'm currently rereading. I have read her entire collection, and I'm currently slowly going to reread it. But at the moment, this is still my favorite of her books. So it will be interesting when I finish rereading it again, whether it will still be the favorite, because there are a lot of really good ones in there. But the crime here, the plot, it is so well done and quite gruesome, but still done in a way that it's still cozy, even though it's gruesome. She just does it so well, Mrs. Christie. It's just very well done, and yeah. Prompt number 5, book time with Elvis, a book about time travel, or someone named Elvis. I wish I had read a book that I remembered with a character named Elvis. I think that's really cool. I have not read anything about Elvis Presley, but there are other people named Elvis, and it would if you're named Elvis, you have to be fun, right? Anyway, so I thought, obviously I could say the Outlander books, because I've read all of them, and I'm very impatiently waiting for the last one, or next one. I think it's the last one. But I, like, get on with it already. But yeah, so I could, obviously that's time travel and it's very famous, but I don't own that. I don't own those books yet. So I think I'm gonna actually say Piranesi. I think that there is a very interesting concept of time, and I really like how he doesn't use a calendar, like he has created his own calendar. I think that's very cool. And I just think that I think the time still works as it works normally, but it feels different. And he doesn't have a watch, so he's like counting times and he's doing it in a different way for sure. And I think that it's a really interesting kind of, you could definitely go deep into some analysis of time in this book, I think. Number 6, middle of the book March. Your favorite book that you read in March. I read so many good books in March. March was a fantastic reading month for me. I read 5 5-star books that I rated 5 stars. I think that my favorite book of March, which Kim at middle of the book March will be very happy to hear, was Middlemarch. I read this book in March in like a read along with Classics and Company, where Kim at middle of the March was also a co-host. And I'm so happy that I did. It's such a good book and one of my favorites of the year, so far at least. Prompt number 7, Book Baths, a book with a great friendship. So obviously one of my favorite books ever, Lord of the Rings. I think one of the things that really make me love this book so much is the relationship between Frodo and Sam. Obviously it is somewhat of a hierarchical relationship, in that Sam, at least in the beginning, is more of a servant to Frodo. But I think that throughout the books, and you can see it in the movies as well, the relationships, I mean, it's such a beautiful friendship. Frodo would not have been able to do what he did without Sam. Sam was just so brave and helpful and just this very kind of overlooked hero, I think. And I think their friendship is just so beautiful. But I actually think that the book that I've read, at least so that I can remember as well for the last several years, is actually, in this book, is one of the best beautiful friendships that I've seen, that I can remember at least. And that is between the mother and the grandmother in this book. So it's a woman and her mother-in-law. And their relationship, it made me so happy to see such a beautiful relationship between two women. I think we often, the mother-in-law relationship is often demonized, and I just think that's really sad, because those relationships can be really rewarding and beautiful. And I think it's done so well in this book. Prompt number 8, Obscure Book Adventures is a channel name. And the prompt is a book that you love that never gets talked about. I was so surprised by this book and how much it impacted me and how good I think it is. Makes me so surprised that it is not talked about more. Maybe it is, I just haven't found those people. I need to find my people, because I think maybe just James Joyce in general. I mean, I know that he is a difficult author. I think the writing in this book, I don't think is difficult. I mean, it's bleak and like really sad, and there are situations here that are just like depressing for sure. But the writing style is not difficult. You need to love this book, people. It's so good, and it's a collection of short stories. I think there are 12 short stories or 11, and majority of them are just pure joy to read. Apart from the fact that they are very bleak and depressing, but like the writing, the everything. I mean, I wish that every single one of them were like a novel, because some of them are very short, and all of them I would like to read as a novel, because they all engaged me and made me interested in the characters. So we need to love Dubliners a little bit more. Prompt number 9 is connected to Savage Reads. And it is a book with a monster or beast or human acting monstrous or beastly. This is Iron Gold. The fourth book in the Red Rising saga by Pierce Brown. There is one character there that gives me the Jeffrey... Oh my god. From Game of Thrones. Vibes. I hated him. He was pure monster. He was a human being, but his actions were monstrous. And that's all I'm gonna say, because you have to read the series because it is so good, and you need to know about this world that I absolutely love. The Red Rising saga, especially this guy in book 4. And now we have the last prompt, which is number 10. A book that fits your own channel name or the name of a channel you love. So, as you would have noticed, a few weeks ago I changed my name into my YouTube channel name into Bryndís, Daughter of Gunnar. And this, I decided to use the same handle that I use in my Instagram. My Instagram account is private, and I mean, you're welcome to request a follow, but I don't really post there anyway that much anymore. But it is Bryndís, Daughter of Gunnar. And I was inspired actually by that after watching the movies of The Lord of the Rings. And, you know, Glóin, Gimli, son of Glóin. Yeah, I can't remember anymore on the spot. And like all the dwarves were like that. This one was son of this one, and that one was son of that one, and whatever. And so I thought I wanted to be a daughter of someone. And in Iceland also we don't have surnames, so we have patronyms. It has changed, so you can also have like a metronym, or even both of your parents' patronyms or patronyms. I don't know what the word would be in English, but my last name is basically my father's first name, which is Gunnar, and then daughter. So like my brother's last name is Gunnarsson, because they are a son. And yeah, so you can also, if you are non-binary, we are getting more modernized, but we don't have like traditional family names, or at least very few of us. So I thought that was pretty cool to kind of use that Icelandic tradition and my love of Tolkien and create this Bryndís, Daughter of Gunnar type of a handle. So that's what I did. But yeah, that's how my name is for the channel came about. I know that I should probably tag someone, but I get all like anxious about tagging people, so I'm not going to do that. But please do consider yourself tagged if you watched this video and you thought this sounded fun. It was actually really fun, and it would be really fun, I think, also to spread this tag about. If you have read any of the books I talked about, let's talk about them in the comments. If you want to do the video, or you have a Booktube or YouTube channel, let me know as well so I can come and watch your video. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.